The Earth Coalition flagship Artemis was the biggest ship humans had ever built. It floated in space like a small city. Right now it was on high alert. Armed guards stood at every door. Soldiers ran through the halls. Everyone looked scared. In the middle of the ship was a special room called the Quarantine Bay. It had the strongest walls and doors on the ship. It was made to keep dangerous things inside, but it failed. Dr. Olivia Marsh stood in the empty quarantine bay. Alarm screamed around her. Red lights flashed. She looked at the broken glass and bent metal where Lilith had escaped. "How is this possible?" asked Captain Forrest, who had just arrived. "These walls can stop a missile." Dr. Marsh pointed to the security video. It showed Lilith standing in the middle of the room. Then she simply walked through the wall like it was made of smoke. "She's not just an alien," said Dr. Marsh. Her hands shook as she showed her computer tablet. "I took blood samples while she was unconscious. Her cells are unlike anything I've seen." The video screen changed to show Lilith's blood under a microscope. The cells moved in strange ways, changing shape and joining together. "Her cells need blood to live," continued Dr. Marsh. "Human blood specifically. She absorbs it and uses it to power her body." "Like a vampire," said Laurel, who stood quietly in the corner. She hadn't slept since they brought Lilith aboard. She kept seeing those black eyes in her dreams. "Yes, exactly like a vampire," agreed Dr. Marsh. "The old Earth stories about blood-drinking monsters might have come from encounters with her kind." Captain Forrest's radio crackled. "Captain, we have 3 dead security officers on Deck 7, all drained of blood." Everyone in the room went quiet. "Did they suffer?" asked Captain Forrest finally. There was a pause on the radio. "No, ma'am. That's the strange part. They're all smiling." Dr. Marsh checked her computer. "She must release some kind of chemical when she feeds. Something that makes the victims feel good while she drains them. That would make hunting easier." "Where is she now?" demanded Captain Forrest. Another voice came on the radio. "We think she's in engineering, ma'am. The computers are acting strange. Something is accessing our main systems." Laurel felt cold. "She's learning about us, about our technology." They ran to engineering, a squad of 20 soldiers with the most powerful guns on the ship. But they were too late. Lilith stood with her hands inside an open computer panel. Wires and tubes connected to her pale skin. Her black eyes were closed, and she smiled as data flowed into her. "Stop right there," shouted Captain Forrest. All 20 guns pointed at Lilith. Lilith opened her eyes slowly. "Your weapons cannot harm me. I am learning all about them right now." Her voice sounded different with a strange electronic echo. "Your ship is impressive for such a young species." "What do you want?" asked Captain Forrest. "To reclaim what is mine," said Lilith. "My empire. My people, your people," asked Dr. Marsh. "There are more like you?" Lilith smiled, showing her sharp teeth. "We have lived among you for a long time, hiding, sleeping, waiting for my return." She pulled her hands from the computer. The skin where the wires had connected healed instantly. "I have sent the call," she said. "They will hear me across the stars and wake from their long sleep." Suddenly, Laurel fell to her knees. Her head filled with strange visions. Red stars, ancient cities, battlefields covered in blood. And through it all, Lilith's voice calling, commanding. Around her, other soldiers clutched their heads and screamed. Only Laurel stayed silent, fighting the visions. Lilith looked at her with surprise. "You resist me? How interesting." Before anyone could stop her, Lilith moved with that impossible speed again. She touched Laurel's face gently. "There is something different about you, something familiar." Then she was gone, moving so fast she seemed to disappear. Everyone recovered slowly from the mental attack. Some soldiers were still crying. "What just happened?" asked Captain Forrest, helping Laurel stand up. "She sent a signal," said Laurel. "Not just through the ship's computers, through our minds. I could see what she was sending. A message to her people." Dr. Marsh scanned Laurel with a small device. "Your brain patterns are different from the others. Somehow you resisted her telepathic attack. Back in the command center, bad news came from all over the ship. Lilith had taken a small shuttle and escaped. The ship's computer system was damaged, and worst of all, the signal she sent was spreading. We're getting reports from Earth and Mars," said a communications officer. "People are having the same visions. Red stars. Ancient battles." Admiral Peter Woodward, the highest officer on the ship, looked grim. "Do we know what that alien prison ship was? Why was Lilith locked up?" Dr. Marsh had been studying the information they gathered. The ship's design suggests it was made to be a prison. The confusing layout, the strange symbols, they're all meant to disorient prisoners and keep them lost. So Lilith wasn't on a regular ship that got lost, said Captain Forrest. She was in a jail cell. A very advanced jail cell, agreed Dr. Marsh, made by someone who feared her greatly. Admiral Woodward turned to Laurel. Private Winters, you're the one who woke her up. And now it seems you have some kind of connection to her. From now on, you're assigned to this case. I want to know everything about this Lilith and her people. Laurel nodded, though inside she felt sick. The vision still floated in her mind, and sometimes when she closed her eyes she could feel Lilith watching her. That night, as the Artemis raced back to Earth, a dozen small ships appeared near Mars' colony. They were made of a strange red-black metal that seemed alive. Inside each one were pale figures with black eyes and sharp teeth. The Hemivores had heard their queen's call, and they were hungry after their long sleep. Laurel woke up screaming from a dream where she saw through Lilith's eyes as the queen feasted on human blood. The strange part was, in the dream, Laurel had felt Lilith's hunger as her own. Private Laurel Winters floated through the empty space, her breath loud inside her helmet. The stars looked cold and distant from here. Her small team moved slowly toward the strange ship they had found. It was huge and black, like a dark castle floating in space. "Stay alert, everyone," said Captain Diane Forrest through the radio. "We don't know what's in there." Laurel checked her gun and oxygen level. This was supposed to be an easy mission. Find the empty alien ship, look for useful things, and go home. The Earth Coalition did this all the time. Find old ships, take the good parts, learn about aliens. Simple work, but this ship was different. No one had seen anything like it before. "It's not in any of our records," said Ben, the team's computer expert. "The shape is all wrong. And the metal. Our scanners can't even tell what it's made of." The ship was huge. It looked like it was made of black glass that ate light instead of reflecting it. Strange symbols covered its surface. They hurt Laurel's eyes when she tried to focus on them. Their small shuttle reached the dark ship. Laurel felt a chill despite her temperature-controlled suit. Something about this place felt wrong. "Command wants us to check for survivors," Captain Forrest said, "though I doubt anything could live in there after so long." The team of 6 soldiers attached their shuttle to the side of the black ship. With a hiss of air, they cut through the hull and made an entrance. "Oxygen levels normal," said Maya, checking her tools. "Temperature is cold but survivable. We can breathe in there, but keep helmets on until we're sure it's safe." One by one, they entered the alien ship. Their lights cut through the darkness, showing long hallways that seemed to bend in ways that didn't make sense. The walls were covered with more of those strange symbols. "This place makes my head hurt," said Carlos, another soldier. "The halls don't go where they should. It's like this place doesn't follow normal rules." Laurel felt it too. The ship seemed designed to confuse anyone who entered. They would turn left 4 times and somehow not end up where they started. Rooms connected in impossible ways. Their map program couldn't make sense of it. "Stay together," ordered Captain Forrest. "Mark our path as we go." They moved deeper into the ship, finding empty rooms with strange furniture. Everything was built for someone about human size, but with odd proportions. Chairs with too high backs. Tables with weird angles. "No bodies," noted Maya after 2 hours of searching. "If the crew died, where are they?" In the 5th hour, they found something new. A large round room with hundreds of glass tubes standing upright. Each was big enough to hold a person. "Stasis chambers," said Ben, scanning them with his tools, "for keeping living things asleep for a long time. They're all empty except... Wait." His scanner beeped loudly when he pointed it at the chamber in the center of the room. Unlike the others, this one was filled with thick red liquid, and floating inside was a figure. The team gathered around. Through the red fluid, they could see what looked like a woman. Her skin was white as paper. Her hair floated around her like black seaweed. Her eyes were closed. "Is she alive?" asked Carlos, his voice a whisper. Ben checked his scanner. "Yes, but the readings are strange. Her heart beats once every few minutes. Body temperature is way below what should be possible for a living thing." Captain Forrest called their ship. "Command, we found a survivor in some kind of stasis. Requesting instructions," the radio crackled. "Bring it back for study." "Priority 1. Acknowledged," said Captain Forrest. She turned to the team. "We need to figure out how to safely transport this chamber back to our shuttle." They spread out looking for controls. Laurel found herself standing alone in front of the red chamber. Up close, she could see the woman's face better. She was beautiful in a strange, scary way. Too perfect. Too still. Something about her pulled at Laurel. Without thinking, she reached out toward the control panel next to the chamber. "Winters, don't touch anything," shouted Captain Forrest from across the room. But it was too late. Laurel's hand had already pressed the largest button on the panel. She didn't know why she did it. It felt like someone else had moved her arm. The chamber made a loud hissing noise. The red fluid began to drain away. The rest of the team ran over, guns ready. "What did you do?" demanded the captain. I don't know," said Laurel, backing away. "I didn't mean to." The fluid drained completely. The glass tube slid open. The woman inside didn't move for a long moment. Then her chest rose with a deep breath. Her eyes opened. They were completely black. No white part. No colored iris. Just black, like looking into deep space with no stars. The woman sat up slowly. She looked at each team member one by one. When her eyes met Laurel's, a small smile formed on her lips. Her teeth were very white and very sharp. "Thank you for freeing me," she said in perfect English. Her voice was beautiful and terrible at the same time. "It has been so long. Who are you?" asked Captain Forrest, her gun pointed at the strange woman. The woman stood up. She was tall and moved like water, smooth and flowing. "I am Lilith, Queen of the Hemivore Dominion." She stretched her arms like someone waking from a long sleep. "How long have I been imprisoned?" No one answered. They didn't know. "What year is it by Earth counting?" asked Lilith. The team looked at each other in surprise. "You know about Earth?" asked Ben. "I know many things," said Lilith. "I have visited many worlds. Earth was young when I saw it last." "It's 2187, said Laurel, finding her voice. Lilith smiled again. "Then I have slept for over 12,000 years." She looked around the chamber room. "And my captors?" "The Luminary? Do they still exist?" Again no one answered. They had never heard of the Luminari. "Good," said Lilith. "Then there is no one to stop me from taking back what is mine." She moved suddenly, faster than any human could. Before anyone could react, she was across the room, her hand around Carlos's throat. "I am hungry after my long sleep," she said. Then she bit his neck. The team fired their weapons, but Lilith moved too quickly. She dropped Carlos, who fell to the floor, pale and still. In seconds, she had reached the door. "I thank you for awakening me," she said. "Especially you." She pointed at Laurel. "You and I will meet again. I feel it." Then she was gone, moving too fast for them to follow. Captain Forrest ran to Carlos and checked him. "He's alive, barely. We need to get him back to the ship now." As they carried Carlos back through the twisting hallways, Laurel felt cold fear in her stomach. What had she done? What had she let loose? And why did she feel like Lilith was still watching her even now? 3 months had passed since Lilith escaped. The Earth Coalition was losing the war they never expected to fight. Laurel stood on a hill overlooking the ruins of the Martian colony. Smoke rose from broken domes and shattered buildings. Her uniform now showed the rank of lieutenant. She had earned it the hard way, leading the defense when the Hemivores attacked Mars. "Lieutenant Winters, the transport is ready," said a young soldier behind her. Laurel nodded and took one last look at the destruction. They had saved some of the colonists, but not enough. The Hemivores had taken many. On the flight back to Earth, Laurel studied the reports from other colonies. The pattern was always the same. The Hemivores would appear in their living ships that looked like they were made of red-black metal mixed with flesh. They would attack quickly, take human prisoners, and disappear before help could arrive. "They're not just feeding," Laurel told General Kate Monroe during the war meeting on Earth. "They're taking people for some other reason." The meeting room was full of tired-looking military leaders and scientists. They had been fighting for months with little success. "How do you know this?" asked the general. Laurel hesitated. She hadn't told many people about her dreams. "I can sometimes see what they're doing, through Lilith." The room went quiet. Dr. Olivia Marsh, who had been studying the Hemivores, spoke up. "Lieutenant Winters has a unique connection to the Hemivore Queen. We believe it started when she was the one who released Lilith from stasis." "And you didn't think this was important to mention before now?" demanded the general. "We've been monitoring it carefully," said Dr. Marsh, "and it's given us valuable information. For example, we now know the Hemivores aren't just taking blood. They're harvesting genetic material. Each time they feed, they get access to human memories, skills, and knowledge. That's why they're getting better at fighting us," said Captain Forrest, who had been promoted to colonel. "They're learning from each person they take." Laurel nodded. "And they're building something big," I've seen it in my dreams. She showed them drawings she had made. A massive ship, bigger than anything humans had built. It was the prison ship where they had found Lilith, but changed, grown, with new parts added to it. This is her flagship, said Laurel. She's rebuilding it using the knowledge and materials she's taking from our colonies. General Monroe studied the drawings. Can you tell where it is? Laurel shook her head. She keeps that blocked from me. She knows I'm watching. This connection goes both ways? Asked the general, looking concerned. Yes, admitted Laurel. But I've learned to control it better. And I've learned things about her. About her history. The images came to Laurel's mind easily now. Her people evolved on a planet with very little sunlight. They developed the ability to take blood from other creatures to survive. Eventually, they built ships and spread to other worlds. How long ago was this? Asked Dr. Marsh. Millions of years, said Laurel. They were traveling between stars when humans were still living in caves. They built an empire across hundreds of worlds. What happened to it? Asked Colonel Forrest. Civil War, said Laurel. Lilith wanted more power, more worlds. Some of her people disagreed. There was a terrible war that lasted for centuries. And Lilith lost, said General Monroe. Yes. Another species called the Luminari helped defeat her. They were the ones who built the prison ship. But they couldn't kill her, so they locked her away instead. And we let her out, said the general with a sigh. After the meeting, Laurel went to the special lab where they studied the few herbivores they had managed to capture. Most died quickly in captivity, refusing to feed on the blood that was offered to them. Dr. Marsh met her there. We've made a discovery, she said, leading Laurel to a microscope. Look at this. Laurel looked through the microscope at a slide with both human and herbivore blood. Where they mixed, strange reactions happened. Normal human blood is destroyed by herbivore blood, explained Dr. Marsh. But your blood? She switched the slide. Laurel's blood, mixed with herbivore blood, created strange patterns. The cells fought each other, but neither won. What does it mean? Asked Laurel. I don't know yet, said Dr. Marsh, but it might explain your connection to Lilith. There's something different about your blood. That night, Laurel dreamed again. She saw through Lilith's eyes as the Queen walked through her massive ship. Herbivores worked at strange controls, building weapons, preparing for war. I know you're watching, little one, said Lilith in the dream. She wasn't speaking out loud, but directly into Laurel's mind. Why are you doing this? Asked Laurel. Why not just live peacefully? Lilith laughed. Peace is for the weak. My people ruled the stars once. We will again. Humans will fight you, said Laurel. Humans, said Lilith, the word filled with both disgust and fascination. Do you know what you really are? What they made you to be? Before Laurel could ask what she meant, Lilith showed her a vision of an ancient laboratory. Tall, glowing beings that must have been the Luminari worked with DNA and cells. They made you, said Lilith, using our DNA. Humans are just watered-down versions of my people designed to live in the sun to forget your true nature. Laurel pulled away from the vision, not wanting to believe it. But deep inside she felt it was true. She woke up to alarms blaring. The herbivores were attacking Earth directly now. The battle for Earth lasted days. The sky filled with herbivore ships, red-black against the blue. Earth Coalition ships fought bravely but were outnumbered. Laurel led a squad defending a research facility in what used to be called North America. The herbivores came in waves, each one stronger and smarter than the last. They're adapting to our weapons, shouted Laurel to her squad. Aim for the eyes. The eyes are still vulnerable. She had learned this from her dreams, from seeing through Lilith's memories. The herbivores had few weaknesses, but their eyes were one. As they fought, Laurel felt Lilith's presence growing stronger. The Queen was coming. Fall back to position 3, ordered Laurel. Her soldiers retreated inside the research building. Through the windows, they watched as a massive ship appeared in the sky. It was Lilith's flagship, just as Laurel had drawn it. Parts of it were clearly from the old prison ship, but much had been added. It looked like a living cathedral made of metal and flesh and darkness. A beam of red light shot from the ship to the ground outside the research facility. When it faded, Lilith stood there alone. She wore armor made of the same living metal as her ship. Her black hair moved like it was underwater. Lieutenant Winters, she called, her voice carrying easily. Come out. I would speak with you. Laurel's squad looked at her in fear and confusion. It's a trap, said one soldier. Of course it is, said Laurel. But she'll kill you all if I don't go. She stepped outside, her gun ready, though she knew it would do little against Lilith. Here I am, she said, trying to sound brave. Lilith smiled, showing her sharp teeth. You've been in my head, little one. And I've been in yours. We are connected now. What do you want? Asked Laurel. To show you the truth, said Lilith. About what you are. About what you could become. She moved forward with that impossible speed and touched Laurel's face. Images flooded Laurel's mind. Genetic codes. Ancient secrets. The truth about human origins, you see, said Lilith. Humans are our children, made by the Luminari using our essence, but flawed, weakened. I can make you whole again. Laurel pulled away. We're not like you. We don't need to kill to live, don't you? Laughed Lilith. Look at your history. You kill for far less than survival. She was gone before Laurel could answer, disappearing back into her ship. The attack stopped as suddenly as it had started. The Hemivore ships retreated, but Laurel knew they would be back, and next time they would come in full force. This had just been Lilith testing their defenses, learning their weaknesses and trying to turn Laurel to her side. The war had been going on for 6 months. Earth and its colonies were losing badly. The Hemivores grew stronger with each attack, learning from humans they captured, adapting to weapons used against them. Laurel sat in a small spaceship with 5 other people. They were on a desperate mission based on clues Laurel had gathered from her dream connection with Lilith. We're approaching Tau Ceti, said the pilot, a woman named Amy. The moon should be visible soon. Dr. Susan Bell, an expert in alien ruins and languages, checked her equipment. Next to her sat Dr. Olivia Marsh, who had been studying Hemivore biology. 2 soldiers, Jack and Mia, watched the screens for any sign of enemy ships. There it is, said Amy, pointing to a small gray moon orbiting a large gas planet. Exactly where you said it would be, Lieutenant. Laurel nodded. In her dreams, she had seen this place many times. A forgotten moon where the Luminari had hidden their secrets. They landed near what looked like a pile of rocks. But as they got closer, they could see it was actually ruins, ancient buildings fallen into ruin over thousands of years. Amazing, whispered Dr. Bell, running her hand over symbols carved into a broken wall. This matches the writing we found on the prison ship. They made their way carefully through the ruins. Laurel led them, following a map she had seen in her dreams. Deep under the surface, they found what they were looking for. A round room with a glowing pillar in the center. It's still working after all this time, said Dr. Bell in awe. The Luminari were incredible engineers. She touched the pillar carefully. It responded to her touch, glowing brighter. Symbols appeared in the air above it. It's a database, said Dr. Bell. All their knowledge stored in light. For hours, she worked to understand the alien information system. Finally, she figured out how to access it. What should I look for first? She asked. Hemivores, said Laurel. And Lilith. The light changed, showing images of the pale, black-eyed beings they now knew too well. Dr. Bell read the symbols that appeared. The Hemivores were once peaceful, she translated. They evolved on a planet with little sunlight, developing the ability to take blood from other creatures to survive. The images showed the Hemivores building ships, traveling to other worlds, meeting other species. They built an empire spanning hundreds of worlds, continued Dr. Bell. They lived alongside other species, taking small amounts of blood but never killing. What changed? Asked Dr. Marsh. The images shifted to show a familiar face. Lilith, looking younger but still recognizable. Lilith was born with rare abilities, translated Dr. Bell. Stronger, faster, with powerful mental gifts. She rose to become queen and led her people in a new direction. She believed they should rule over other species, not live with them. The next images were dark. Planets burning. Species being enslaved or destroyed. Under Lilith, the Hemivore Dominion became an empire of fear, said Dr. Bell. They conquered world after world. Any who resisted were destroyed. Until they met the Luminari, said Laurel, knowing what came next. The images showed tall beings of light. They fought against the Hemivores in a war that lasted centuries. The Luminari were few in number but highly advanced, said Dr. Bell. They fought Lilith to a standstill, but they couldn't defeat her completely. Why not? Asked Mia. If they were so advanced? The answer came in the next images. Lilith's unique biology made her nearly immortal. She could heal from almost any wound. Even when her body was destroyed, her consciousness could move to a new body. They couldn't kill her, said Dr. Bell. So they built the prison ship instead, a place where she would sleep forever, her mind unable to escape. Until we let her out, said Laurel quietly. The images changed again, showing something unexpected. The Luminarian laboratories working with DNA. What's this? Asked Dr. Marsh, leaning forward. Dr. Bell read the symbols carefully. After imprisoning Lilith, the Luminari feared her people might try to free her. They needed a safeguard, a weapon against the Hemivores if they ever returned. The images showed a planet, Earth, billions of years ago. They took Hemivore DNA and modified it, translated Dr. Bell. Created a new species that could live in sunlight. That would evolve separately but carry certain traits. Humans, said Laurel. Lilith told me this. She said we were made from them. Yes, said Dr. Bell. But there's more. The Luminari built special fail-safes into human DNA. Rare individuals who would be born with the ability to resist Hemivore mind control. Who could potentially defeat Lilith if she ever escaped. Everyone turned to look at Laurel. That's why you can share her thoughts but resist her control, said Dr. Marsh. You're one of these fail-safes. Laurel felt cold. How am I supposed to defeat her? She's too powerful. Dr. Bell continued reading. The fail-safe humans would have special blood. Toxic to Hemivores, especially to Lilith. Dr. Marsh grabbed Laurel's arm. That's it. That's why your blood reacted differently in the lab. Your blood can kill her. They gathered all the information they could from the Luminari database. As they prepared to leave, Laurel felt a familiar presence in her mind. She knows we're here, she said urgently. We need to go now. They rushed back to their ship. As they took off, they saw 3 Hemivore ships approaching the moon. They're following us, said Amy as they fled into space. We can't lead them back to Earth, said Laurel. Not yet. Not until we figure out how to use what we've learned. They sent the information to Earth using a special code, then set course for an abandoned mining station where they could hide and make plans. At the station, Dr. Marsh ran more tests on Laurel's blood. The Luminari designed your DNA perfectly, she said. Your blood produces a protein that attacks Hemivore cells specifically. If enough of your blood enters Lilith's system, it could destroy her from inside. How do we get my blood into the most powerful Hemivore in the galaxy? Asked Laurel. She's not going to let me stick her with a needle. They spent days making plans. Laurel tried to keep her mind closed to Lilith, but it was hard. The connection between them grew stronger each day. One night, as the others slept, Laurel felt Lilith enter her dreams more strongly than ever before. I know what you found, said the Queen, her black eyes staring into Laurel's soul. The Luminari were clever, but not clever enough. They stood together in a strange place, neither fully in Laurel's mind nor in Lilith's, a place between dreams. You don't have to do this, said Laurel. Your people could live peacefully with humans. Take what you need without killing, like you did before, Lilith laughed. Peace is for the weak. I was born to rule. You were born to guide your people, said Laurel, not destroy them. This war will end with everyone dead. For a moment, Laurel thought she saw doubt in Lilith's black eyes. I am the last true Hemivore, said Lilith, quieter now. The others are pale copies. Mixed breeds who forgot their heritage while I slept. I woke to find my empire gone, my people scattered and weakened. So build something new, said Laurel. Something better. Lilith studied her for a long moment. You are different from other humans. I've been in many minds over many centuries. Yours is unique. Because I was made to destroy you, said Laurel. Yes, said Lilith with a small smile. My perfect enemy. Created just for me. There's a certain poetry in that, don't you think? She reached out and touched Laurel's face gently. We will meet soon, little one. Face to face. And we will see what the Luminari's weapon can really do. Laurel woke with a start. The others were already up, looking at screens showing emergency signals. She's attacking Earth again, said Jack. All Hemivore ships. This is the big one. Laurel knew what she had to do. We need to get back to Earth now. I need to face her. It's suicide, said Mia, even with your special blood. It's the only chance we have, said Laurel, and I won't be going alone. They loaded their ship with everything they would need. Dr. Marsh prepared special weapons using Laurel's blood. They worked day and night, pushing the ship's engines to their limits to reach Earth in time. As they approached Earth, They could see the battle already raging. HFY ships filled the sky. Earth ships fought bravely but were being destroyed one by one. And at the center of it all, Lilith's massive flagship loomed over the planet like a dark star. "Are you ready?" asked Dr. Marsh, handing Laurel a small device. It was connected to tubes filled with her own blood, ready to be used as a weapon. Laurel nodded, though inside she felt terrified. She was about to face the most dangerous being in the galaxy, a queen who had ruled for thousands of years before humans even existed. "I was born for this," she said, trying to believe it. "The Luminari made me for this moment." Their small ship headed toward Lilith's flagship, weaving through the battle. Somehow they weren't attacked. Laurel knew why. Lilith was letting them come. She was waiting for her perfect enemy. The battle for Earth filled the sky with fire and broken ships. The HFY fleet attacked from all sides. Earth ships fought bravely but were losing. On the ground, people hid in shelters, hoping for a miracle. Laurel's small ship flew through the chaos toward Lilith's massive flagship. Strange energy beams shot past them, but none hit their ship. It was as if something was protecting them. "She's letting us through," said Laurel. "She wants me to come." "It's a trap," said Jack, checking his weapons. "Of course it is," said Laurel. "But it's our only chance." Dr. Marsh touched the device strapped to Laurel's arm. It held tubes of Laurel's blood, ready to be used as a weapon against Lilith. "Remember, you need to get your blood directly into her system," said Dr. Marsh. "The more, the better. The device will inject it automatically when you press this button." Laurel nodded. She felt Lilith's presence growing stronger as they got closer to the flagship. The Queen was waiting for her. They docked at the flagship without any trouble. No HFYs attacked them as they entered. The inside of the ship was strange and beautiful in a scary way. It looked like a mix of a church, a castle, and a living thing. The walls seemed to pulse with life. "It's part machine, part biological," said Dr. Bell, scanning the walls. "The ship is alive." They moved carefully through the ship. Laurel led the way, following the pull in her mind that led to Lilith. The others followed with weapons ready. "This way," said Laurel, turning down a long hallway. At the end was a huge door made of what looked like red-black metal and bone. The door opened by itself as they approached. Behind it was a massive room like the inside of a cathedral. Tall windows showed the battle raging outside. In the center of the room was a throne made of the same living metal as the ship, and on the throne sat Lilith. She looked different now, stronger. Her pale skin had a faint red glow. Her black hair floated around her head like it was underwater. She wore armor that seemed to move and change part of her body rather than something separate. "Welcome, little one," she said, her black eyes fixed on Laurel. "And you've brought friends." How thoughtful. Suddenly, doors around the room opened. HFYs poured in, dozens of them surrounding Laurel's team. But they didn't attack. They just waited, watching. "I've been waiting for this moment for a long time," said Lilith, standing up from her throne. She moved with that impossible grace like water flowing. "Since I first felt your mind touch mine." "We don't have to fight," said Laurel, though she knew it was hopeless. "This war can end without more death," Lilith laughed. "Death is part of life, especially for creatures like us." "I'm nothing like you," said Laurel. "Aren't you?" asked Lilith, moving closer. "We share blood, you and I. The Luminari made you from my people. You are my descendant, in a way. My child." "The Luminary made me to stop you," said Laurel. "Yes," agreed Lilith. "My perfect enemy. Created just for me. It's almost romantic." She moved suddenly, faster than anyone could see. One moment she was across the room, the next she was right in front of Laurel. "Your friends can't help you now," said Lilith. Indeed, the others were frozen in place, caught in some kind of mental hold. Only Laurel could still move, protected by her special resistance. "It's just you and me now," said Lilith. As it was always meant to be. Laurel threw the first punch. It connected with Lilith's face, surprising the Queen. Laurel had been training for this moment, learning to fight in ways that would work against someone faster and stronger. Lilith recovered quickly and attacked. The fight was like nothing anyone had ever seen. Lilith moved with supernatural speed and strength. Laurel was slower but had studied Lilith's movements through their mental connection. She knew what the Queen would do before she did it. They fought across the massive room. Lilith threw Laurel into a wall hard enough to crack it. Laurel got up and kept fighting. She managed to land blows that would have killed a normal person, but Lilith just laughed and healed instantly. "You fight well, little one," said Lilith, wiping blood from her mouth. Better than any human I've faced before. But you can't win this way, she was right. Laurel was getting tired. Lilith wasn't. The queen could fight forever without getting tired. It was time for the real plan. Laurel let Lilith get close, then grabbed her arm. The blood device activated, sending a spray of Laurel's blood into Lilith's face. Some of it went into the queen's mouth and eyes. Lilith screamed. Her perfect skin began to bubble where Laurel's blood touched it. She backed away, her face showing pain for the first time. "What have you done?" she demanded. "The luminary made me to be your poison," said Laurel. "My blood is toxic to you." Lilith's body tried to heal itself, but the damage spread. Wherever Laurel's blood touched, Lilith's cells died. But it wasn't enough. The queen was too powerful, her healing abilities too strong. The damage slowed and stopped spreading. "A good try," said Lilith, her face already healing. But not good enough. She attacked again, more careful now, avoiding contact with Laurel's blood. The fight continued, but Laurel was running out of energy. Her movements got slower. Lilith landed more hits. Finally, Lilith caught Laurel by the throat and lifted her off the ground. "It's over, little one," she said. "You fought well, but you've lost." Laurel couldn't breathe. Darkness crept into the edges of her vision. This was the end, but then she had an idea. A desperate, crazy idea. Instead of fighting Lilith's grip, she reached out and pulled the queen closer. Before Lilith could react, Laurel bit her own tongue hard enough to make it bleed, then kissed Lilith full on the mouth. Laurel's blood flowed directly into Lilith's system. The queen tried to pull away, but Laurel held on with the last of her strength. Lilith screamed into Laurel's mouth. Her perfect skin began to crack and blister. Light shone through the cracks as if she was burning from inside. But something else was happening too. Where their blood mixed, strange energy formed between them. Purple-white light surrounded them both. Laurel felt Lilith's mind crash into hers with full force. Not attacking, but merging. Memories flooded between them. Lilith's ancient past, Laurel's short human life. Thousands of years of experience mixing with 28 years of human existence. They fell to the floor, still connected, still surrounded by that strange light. The hemivores around the room watched in shock. Laurel's friends, freed from the mental hold, ran forward but couldn't get through the energy field around the two women. Inside the light, Laurel and Lilith were changing. Lilith's ancient cells and Laurel's specially designed ones fought and merged and created something new. Neither fully hemivore nor fully human. When the light finally faded, only one woman remained where two had been. She stood up slowly. Her skin was pale but had a healthy glow. Her eyes were mostly human, with just a hint of the endless black of hemivore eyes around the edges. Her hair was dark but normal, no longer floating in an invisible current. She looked at her hands, turning them over, examining them with wonder. "Laurel," asked Dr. Marsh cautiously, "is that you?" The woman smiled. Her teeth were normal except for slightly pointed canines. "Yes and no," she said. Her voice was Laurel's, but with a hint of Lilith's musical tone. "I am both of them, and something new." The hemivores around the room knelt down, recognizing their queen but seeing the change in her. "The war is over," said the new being. "There will be no more fighting between our peoples." She walked to the throne and touched a control panel. Outside, the hemivore ship stopped attacking. The battle paused as everyone waited to see what would happen next. For too long, the hemivores have lived in darkness, hiding their true nature, she said, and humans have forgotten their origins, the power in their blood. Either path was right. She turned to Laurel's friends. "I am Laurel Lilith now. I have her memories, her powers. But I have Laurel's compassion, her humanity." "What happens now?" asked Dr. Bell. "Now we build something new," said Laurel Lilith. "A future where our peoples live together, learn from each other. Hemivores don't need to kill to feed. Humans can benefit from the knowledge of a species millions of years older than theirs." She sent a message to all ships, hemivore and human alike. The war was over. A new age was beginning. It wasn't easy. Many on both sides didn't trust the peace. Some hemivores refused to follow a queen who was now part human. Some humans couldn't accept sharing their world with creatures who needed blood to live. But Laurel Lilith was patient. She had the wisdom of an ancient queen and the understanding of a human soldier. She found ways to bring people together, to show each side the value of the other. Hemivores learned to feed without harming, taking only what they needed from willing donors. Humans learned the secrets of hemivore technology, their knowledge of the stars, their ancient history. 5 years later, the first joint colony was established. Humans and hemivores living and working together. More followed. Ships with mixed crews explored the stars, seeking new worlds, new knowledge. And at the center of it all was Laurel Lilith, neither fully human nor fully hemivore, but a bridge between worlds. The queen who had once sought to conquer now worked to unite. The soldier who had been created as a weapon now helped build peace. Sometimes, in quiet moments, she could still feel the separate parts of herself. Lilith's ancient memories, her pride and power. Laurel's young life, her determination and hope. But more and more they blended into one being with the best of both.